It was probably the best 4 years of my life.
I wasn't really sure that I wanted to go into the motor trade at all, to be honest.
I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do work-wise.
Welcome back to Schaeffler REPXPERT's Wrenches and Wisdom video series. In this second instalment, we hear from three remarkable individuals, Colin Denton, Louise Baker and Simon Powney, each having taken unique paths to find their calling in the motor trade.
My journey probably started when I was about 8 or 9 years old, fanatical as a child about motor vehicles and not knowing why. It's just that if it had round wheels on it and it moved, I really was interested in wanting to know why it moved, how it moved.
I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do work-wise. I've had loads of jobs. I've worked for a stationery company, I've built furniture, I've been a rep, I've worked at a mobile phone shop, fast food. I did all sorts of different stuff and it never lasted. I ended up getting fired or I walked out. But even in school I didn't know what I wanted to do either, but cars was always a passion. Even when I did my A-levels in art, I would do like car headlights and I'd do all the reflections and that's how I'd paint them and do them in different like styles of multimedia and stuff like that. So really, my teacher should have picked up on that and says, why don't you do something with the motor trade?
I wasn't really sure that I wanted to go into the motor trade at all, to be honest, and I'd had a couple of days, I'd sort of finished my school, went to sixth form for a couple of days, decided I didn't like that, and I realised that I could go to college 1 day a week and I could come somewhere like this garage and do 4 days and learn on the job. I came in to see Brian and he asked me what I could do really, and to be honest, I couldn't do anything at all. I said, but I'm keen to learn, and it sort of went from there really.
The dream for me was to become an apprentice, and I secured an apprenticeship with a manufacturer. So I started at 16 and I was on a 4-year indentured apprenticeship, finishing of course when I was 20. It was probably the best 4 years of my life. It was an upward learning curve that's in a straight line. I had a large group of apprentices around me working for the dealership. It just made going to work a pleasure. By the time I got to 23, I'd opened my own garage.
So I got into the industry mostly through my dad. I had my first car and it would always break down because it was an old Mini, so he would help me fix it because he's got osteoporosis, he could never bend down. So he would just basically tell me what to do, and then I went ahead and fixed it and started maintaining my own car, and then boyfriends, jobs, different experiences, underground car clubs, then different job roles, modifying, performance. Then I started running a garage over in Wednesbury, did that for 5 years. Had a team of lads. We did MOT services, general repairs. Then I went into a part supplier. Then I come out the trade completely because I decided that I hated it and it wasn't for me, I wasn't treated very well. And then after 8 years, I decided that retail management wasn't for me because I hated that as well. I don't really work well for people. So the obvious choice is to go and work for myself, and what better role to go into something that I love, which was cars. So I went back into the motor trade, automotive trade, and started working for myself to give my daughter a better future.
When I started going to college, I found that I really, really enjoyed it. It was a good path for me to start, sort of 1 day a week at college, doing my bits and pieces at college, coming here, learning on the job, picked up more skills, just by being here, to be honest, and learning from the other guys that were here at the time. A chap called Godfrey Jones, basically him and a chap called Alan Lewis trained me up, and I owe it to them. They taught me most of what I knew when I was younger, to be honest.
I'd always hankered for one thing, and that one thing when I was younger was to get involved in the training and assessment of technicians. But I was self-employed running a business. It was a difficult decision, but I made it. I'd been in college for a couple of years to, I suppose, upskill myself, and then the opportunity came along where I could get involved in training. I was offered a position with a training company, and then from there I've moved on over the last 28, 30 years to do lots of different types of training with lots of different types of people, not only in motor vehicle. And then led me to this place about 10 or 12 years ago, where I took over as chief executive, and I'm still here.
I've been in roles where you don't want to get out of bed every morning. You don't want to go to work. You can't wait for Friday. You know, you dread Mondays. I've been in those jobs. Now I love getting out of bed. You know, I love doing what I do. I love speaking to people. I love showing them what I'm doing. And I love encouraging, you know, especially like when I go into schools and just speaking to other youngsters, actually even adults. It's not even just about youngsters, anyone, and the amount of people that I speak to and they're like, oh, that'd be so great if I knew about my own car. You know, I'm fed from their energy, and that's what I bounce off.
Whether through an apprenticeship or a twist of fate, these journeys show that there's no single route to success in the motor trade. Follow along with the Wrenches and Wisdom series by following Schaeffler's REPXPERT social media feeds, and don't forget, if you want to share your story, email info@repexpert.co.uk.